back, dude.
I know. I switched back. Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the 10-7 MMA show. So sorry for the delay, guys. That was completely my fault. Got late. Yeah, totally my fault. Got late coming back from the gym. But we are back. We are live. And once again, I want to mention we do have the membership that is live now. We got one member. Let's go. But Justin's got his training videos up there. The point.
You like the format of how I did the bag video? I wasn't really sure.
I liked it.
I didn't want to video me doing it. I wanted to videotape civilians doing it. And it just happened
100%.
that they were all doing it at different levels. One guy was doing it really good. One guy wasn't doing it good. The other guy was doing it kind of half-assed. So I was like, this is perfect.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. No, I really liked it. I'm going to watch it one more time, but we want to hear from you guys as well. So, and what's up, Celine? Celine is back in the mix. Celine, I feel like you haven't been on in a while. What's up? What's up? She said, good evening, guys.
Also, sorry to cut you off. Talking to Western, he thinks that we should make 2 or 3 administrators, chat administrators. He nominated Celine and Torn.
Okay, so Celine and Tehran, if you guys are in here, well, Celine, obviously you're in here. Let us know. Give us a thumbs up if you're down to be one of our admins, and then we'll set that up today. And we'll obviously set up Western as well. The other thing is, all right, so let us know what you guys think. If you guys are signing up and you are trying to train and learn technique on your own, what you want to see. Like one idea that I had is when I was first learning how to strike, you know, we spent a lot of time with my coach just perfecting the jab, all those little miniature movements of where to keep your balance, how to turn your lead foot slightly, how to turn your fist over. So if you guys think details like that would be beneficial as you're really trying to learn clean, good, solid technique, let us know and we can do like some deep breakdowns. At some point, me and Justin, I think it would be cool for us to do a video together where you're like training me and I can kind of be like the model as you explain the technique. So anyways, that's just a couple of orders of business that we want to talk about from the get-go. Now let's get into the mix. I know there's not a ton happening that has happened in terms of like fights and UFC news and whatnot, but there's actually still a lot of really interesting topics that we're going to talk about today. Some that are really related to fighting and some that are a little bit on the gossipy side, I guess you could say. But let's start off at the top with this White House event. So we talked about this a little bit last time, in terms of Donald Trump making this statement that they're going to have fights at the White House. But did you see the Full Send podcast episode where they interviewed Dana White? All right.
I've seen pieces of it. I've seen Okay.
I
haven't watched the whole thing. Very rarely will I ever watch it. They're just so long, man.
Oh no, I totally get it. So yeah, I listen to that's the difference between me and Justin. I'll listen to this thing from top to bottom, from start to end. There was a lot of interesting nuggets in there, but one of the fascinating things is that, all right, so when Trump first said that, I didn't know if it was real or if he's just saying some stuff and he doesn't, you know what I mean? It's just like, hey, this could be cool, but I didn't know how much legitimacy was behind it. Well, Dana White came out and gave the backstory of what happened prior to that announcement. So apparently, before Trump said anything, he was on the grounds of the White House and they were already planning this event for July 4th. So they were looking around, figuring out where they're going to place it. And then he gave more details about it. My point is this is actually real, which is insane to me. This has never happened. Have they ever had like a basketball game or a football game? This has never happened. This is unheard of. So what he was saying is they're trying to figure out the capacity, where to build the makeshift stadium or whatever. And he also said a couple of other interesting details. This is not going to be a ticketed event where they're going to actually pay for seats and whatnot. It's going to be a one-off event. Seats are going to be complimentary and they're going to be given out to like VIPs and whatever. And you're going to have particularly like security clearance. But the reason for me telling you all of this, probably none of us will get to go. But the reason is when Dana White said this, I'm like, oh, that's how they're going to do it. Because we had questions about security, logistics, and the size. I know Ariel Helwani was talking earlier this week about, well, they want a big gate, so they're going to lose money there. So they're probably not going to do it. I think it's not going to really happen. All of this was explained, and which really makes me think this is going down July 4th of 2026. Justin, let me turn it over to you first. When you think about this, if this is truly going to happen, which I believe it will, what is this going to do for the UFC as a brand and for MMA as a sport?
It's too early to tell, man. It depends how it goes. Think about this. Like we're in, I know this is a deep thought, right? But we're in a position of about to go to World War III, and to have an event at the White House with all those important people there, because their civilians aren't getting these tickets, like the fucking Saudis are going to be invited over. Who knows? I mean, it's going to be all very high level VIP, and man, all your questions depend on how it goes. They could have it. I think it is going to happen. I think it's like a 75% chance that maybe even more that it is going to happen. But what if it goes bad? Like what?
No.
Dude, what if it does, man? Like I don't know, man. That's scary, dude. I don't know. I know it's a deep thought, but what if it goes bad? And I don't even mean like an act of crime.
Okay.
But just like they're just not organized, or the fights are boring, or I don't know, man. It's putting so much hype behind events, I think, is so dangerous for the UFC, because everyone's going to have such a high expectation of the production, of the fight quality, of you have all these VIPs there. It's like a lot can still go wrong on the back end. And I mean, how often, like even like UFC 300, besides the Max Holloway knockout, like I don't know, man. I wasn't thrilled with the event. I thought it was okay. I expected more out of UFC 300, excluding the main event, but I don't know, man. It's just a lot has to go right to make it look good on the sport, I think.
Okay, I'm gonna go the other way. I'm gonna take a much more optimistic approach, because it's rare. I feel like it's pretty rare that a UFC event is just terrible. I loved UFC 300. I thought UFC, now 317.
I mean, like, and keep in mind, I have a high expectation, man. I want knock them down. I mean, I'm around the sport every single day. If it's a mediocre fight, I can go to the gym in fucking 2 hours and go watch guys spar hard as fuck, and some are even fighting in the gym.
Right.
I want more than just guys going tit for tat back and forth, 5 rounds, maybe a little bit of blood. Like I said, I can go watch Sean Strickland getting his Philly shell and walk guys down for round after round after round after round, and it's just not that exciting to me. A fight really has to be exceptional for me to enjoy it.
Okay, no, I totally get that. Now let me paint you a hypothetical. Let me paint the scenario. Okay, think about this. So one of the part of the brilliance of this event is this is going to be 1-on-1. This will never happen again. I could almost guarantee. I mean, okay, let's say not guarantee.
I think if it's a huge success, it will happen again for sure.
Could okay, but let's think about it like this. Right now, the perception is that it's going to be 1-on-1. So what does that mean? People that they were having difficulty negotiating with, Conor McGregor, John Jones, all these fighters, everything is gone. Anthony Smith saying he wants to come out of retirement. You said Dustin Poirier might come out of retirement. What this is doing is this is providing one of the biggest pieces of leverage for the UFC of all time in terms of getting all the perfect matchups done that maybe there's an issue financially or time-wise, or everything is going to be thrown out the window. I guarantee you Khamzat Chimaev will want to fight on this card. Even DD, any people that are not even American, everybody's going to want to be on this card. Also, this is going to happen after the streaming deal is done. So let's say they go to Netflix or Amazon, whatever it will be. You know that this event is going to be globally televised. It's going to be globally streamed. So anybody who's going to be on the service, let's hope it's Netflix. Anybody who's going to be on the service, they're going to be watching that event imagine this at the White House. So to me, I think this is almost a guarantee to be a success, because you're going to have such big names in the sport, including, I know Conor's going to come back for this. He's already said there's been those DMs that have leaked. He's going to come back. He's going to fight Michael Chandler. I think John Jones, he said recently, we can talk about this more. I know it's your favorite topic, but John Jones is now saying that he's back in the gym. He said, whatever happens, he's training again. So this has even gotten John Jones, who's been like ducking and weaving and doing all this crazy stuff, he's going to come back. So to me, they're going to be able to build the most amazing card possible. They're going to have massive negotiating leverage, because the fighters know that for their brand and for their just getting name recognition, nothing is going to compare to this event. So I think it's like almost guaranteed to be a smash. And then I'm going to throw in from the investor perspective one more time. I just re-upped and got a little more TKO stock on Monday. I just don't see how. I don't know. Call me biased, call me a little delusional. I just don't see how you can fail with TKO stock right now with everything that's on the horizon. Streaming deals about to be announced, a fight at the White House. I mean, this is poised, as I've been saying this for years. MMA, I think, will soon be one of the biggest sports on the planet. And how can you get more of a slam dunk? So what do you think? Have I convinced you that there's a high probability this is going to be a slam dunk?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think it's because they're going to go above and beyond, and it'd be even better, man. Dana White likes to flex, and show much power he has over fighters. John Jones, hey, I want to come out, man, come out of retirement for this. Nah, no thanks. I think that would be incredible. That would be giving me something to talk about, because I mean, look at what he did with Francis Ngannou, arguably at the time one of the biggest drawing stars. and you didn't want to negotiate, no problem, see you later. And I just think the UFC, when they have opportunities to do that, man, I think that'd be awesome if they did that. Low probability because he's such a big draw, which I don't even care to see the fight. I don't even care. Like that John Jones on the card. Like, here's the thing: you're going to award him for after all the holdup he's done to the division, and just show the rest of the fans and everybody in the world how much power he has. Fuck this guy. Get this guy out of here. Like, I don't need, like I said, even if he fights Tom Aspinall, I could care less. Or I couldn't care less. Excuse me.
Okay. So Dana White said on the episode that would be the ideal headliner, John Jones versus Tom Aspinall, because he's American. I mean, you can't really, right? Like, of course, we can have Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler, another American Michael Chandler. So that would be cool. But that's what he said he would want. Look, I don't even care. If you're right. Like, if it's John Jones and if he actually gets his stuff together, great. If not, I just know that they're going to have the most epic matchups. And a lot of times, think about it, it just removes the main barrier to entry is getting the matchups done, making both sides happy financially, time-wise, make everything work out, location. Now there's no debate. Everybody wants to be on this card. And they can even, I bet you I wouldn't be surprised if there's some fighters that would be willing to do it for like half their normal allotment. So I think that this is just going to be such a brilliant recipe for massive success, and I cannot wait. I just want to read through a couple comments. We have a bunch of people on the chat, so let's get these comments in. MGal4 Production says, sup. He wants Justin James on the White House card. Let's go, Justin. Wonderboy going to get it done. We're going to talk about Wonderboy next. That's the next topic, but he's got a really tough fight, an up-and-coming prodigy. It looks like that he's got to face. And MGal4 Production is also talking about Derrick Lewis tomorrow. The Black Beast returns. Tehran says, what's up, boys? Tehran, we're talking about you earlier. I think you may have missed it, but we're saying we might make you, Celine, and Western our admins for the channel to manage chat. If you're interested, just because you're always on here, you're very knowledgeable. So let us know. Just give us a thumbs up if you're down for that. MGal4 Production says, I own TKO stock. I own TKO. Do you say you own it because of me? It's got a bright future. Yeah, I think it does. Look, let me put the caveat out there. I'm not a financial expert. I do not advise people on what stocks to buy. I just feel like I know the business, I know the company, and I believe in it, and I believe in the product so much, and I believe in the team. So that's it. You know, when my dad's really into buying equities and really, really into the stock market. And basically, his premise is similar to what's his name, the massive investor. I'm blanking on his name, but the point is you're picking companies that you believe in, whether you believe in the people, you believe in the product, you believe in some combination thereof, and that's it. It's as simple as that. I pick that stock because I believe in the company and I really, really believe in the product, and I'm a massive fan. So yeah, you know, it is what it is. Tehran says, yes, I'll be interested. Let's go. And Western says, hey, Tehran, I nominated you. Okay, let's move on to topic number 2. This is very interesting. This weekend, if you guys may have missed it, we have Stephen Wonderboy Thompson against Bonfim. Now, if you guys are not familiar with Gabriel Bonfim, he is only 27 years old, whereas Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, I listened to an interview of him earlier, I think yesterday, he is now 42 years young. Just a couple years younger than me. I am 45 as of June. So we got Stephen Thompson. Justin, let me turn it over to you. And because we've talked about fight, I know you're much younger than Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, but you know, we've talked many times about the things that can happen as you get older as a fighter, maybe loss of mobility, loss of speed, loss of not power. Normally is what I hear that fighters often say your power is what stays the longest. But for somebody like Wonderboy Thompson, now at 42, with his style, the way he moves, the way he fights, what are you expecting to see on Saturday? And I believe, by the way, Gabriel Bonfim, if you guys aren't familiar, he's like 17-1. He's a phenom. He's on a tear. What do you expect to see in this matchup and in this fight?
You know, unfortunately, I don't know that much about Bonfim. I'll tell you this, but when you look at age discrepancies where Stephen Wonderboy Thompson's at in his career, I think this is a passing the torch, especially coming into this fight at 17-1. Stephen has a great name. This gives the chance the fans, fans like me who don't really know Bonfim, we're going to tune in to watch this fight because Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, man, he's one of the nicest guys in the history of the UFC. And how could you not root for him? 42 years old, still doing his thing. Unfortunately, he's been beaten a little too many times. He's a counter fighter. And I think that the game has evolved past his style. And I mean, I just don't think he can compete with the best in the world anymore.
Let's take a look at Bonfim's record, and you can see some of his finishes. This might give you some insights into what to expect. Yeah, I do. And it's funny, Wonderboy Thompson, he wasn't talking like, hey, this is my retirement fight. He was saying, look, I want to keep going and doing this as long as my body allows me. I think he seems like the type of guy that takes really good care of himself. He's still in the mix. He's doing it because he loves it for all the right reasons, in my opinion. But if you look at this guy's record, so these are obviously like pre-UFC fights.
Well, I think you said he was 17-1.
He's 17-1, yes.
Oh, there's
not
more.
the UFC.
Okay, see, there's more. I didn't see. I thought you were at the top. Go
But
ahead.
if you look at some of these fights, granted these aren't in the UFC, but look, choke, Darce choke, Von Flute choke, mounted guillotine choke, right? So we've got a lot of chokes. We have one clinch. What is this? A TKO, clinch knees to ground punches. So, oh no, he lost there. Sorry. One decision. I mean, we're talking choke, choke, choke. A lot of submissions, right? Which could spell danger for Wonderboy Thompson. Now, I don't know how this fight is exactly going to go. I don't know what Wonderboy Thompson's strategy or Bonfim's strategy is, but it seems like 27, 42. We got a 15-year age difference. This guy's 17-1. He's on a tear. I think he's only lost one fight in the UFC, and that was by unanimous decision against Angelusa. I'm not even sure who that is, but that was back in 2024, almost like a year ago. But this is the matchup. So given what we talked about, I know you're not a massive expert on Bonfim. You said passing of the torch, you're leaning towards Bonfim?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you look at this guy's wrestling credentials, and here's the thing. Wonderboy Thompson is going to, I mean, he's done this over and over and over. It looks in his record to get guys to the ground. Wonderboy Thompson is going to just play a counter-fighting game, and he's going to get his back up against the fence. And, I mean, I'm calling him now. He's going to take him down and sub him. It feels like the best matchup Bonfim can get. You know, Thompson isn't known for his wrestling, you know, and this guy's known for his wrestling and his grappling. So I think this is definitely a passing of the torch position.
Tehran's got Thompson. Very interesting. He also said Thompson been in the UFC since 2012. I believe he was 29 when he debuted with the company. That's freaking crazy. Okay. By the way, Tehran has a question. He says, off topic, but what's your guys' thoughts on Holloway saying he only wants to fight for 2 more years? Also, Oliveira wanting to come back in November or December to fight Max for the BMF. Okay, let's talk about Max Holloway first. Max, I believe he's 33. He's getting, let me double check Max Holloway. So I don't feel like that sounds that crazy to me. Hold on, let me double check. Is he 30? Yeah, I got that right. Yeah, he's 33. He turns 34 in December. Yeah, I mean, what do you think about that, Justin, saying he only wants to fight 2 more years?
He's done enough in the sport. I'm fine with it. I mean, he's one of the most entertaining fighters in the history of not only the featherweight division, but the sport, in my opinion. He's been in so many knockdown, drag him out fights. Like, he wants to, you know, like we talk about, like even you talked about it with me, like just stop fighting, you know, save your brain. I mean, he has enough money. You know, he just probably wants to go enjoy his family for the remaining time. Fighting's tough, man, especially when you fight like him. You know, when you're absorbing so many punches in a fight after fight after fight. This guy doesn't wrestle. This guy doesn't grapple. He stands in the pocket and he exchanges, man. It's, I mean, I respect it. If he can retire at any point now, and I'm totally fine with it.
You know, it's an interesting fight with this matchup coming up at UFC 318 with Max Holloway versus Dustin Poirier. It's Dustin's retirement fight, and I think so many of us, I mean, myself included, we want to see Dustin win. We want to see him come away with an amazing victory and walk off into the sunset like a champ in his home state. But then you think about the lightweight division. Like, if Dustin's going to bounce, right, and Max is so beloved and such a fan favorite, I don't know. Because if Max wins, have you thought about this? Like, if Max wins, it's going to make the division so interesting. I think he's ranked like 9th or 11th, and he was even complaining about his ranking, saying it's BS, which I kind of agree, because he beat Justin Gaethje. Like, it doesn't exactly make sense. But anyways, if he wins, how fascinating will the lightweight division be versus if he loses? Now he's going to be propelled maybe up to the top 5. There's so many fun matchups that we could have with Max Holloway. I mean, we have what's his name? What's it? Oh my God, Dan Hooker. Dan Hooker's up in the mix, and we have Beneil Dariush coming off a win. There's so many. He wants a rematch with Ilia Topuria. What about this Oliveira fight? You know, what if Max gets the win and fights Oliveira for the BMF? Like, that's a lit fight. There's just so many more options. So as much as I was originally feeling like I really want Dustin to win just because this is a retirement fight and we all love Dustin Poirier, I don't know, man. And this is not me logically picking Max to win, but I think I want Max to win now. What do you think? How do you?
I always want Max to win. You know what I mean? Like, I always do. But then, I mean, you got so many fan favorites at the top of the lightweight division's hard. I mean, the only guy that's really to hate there is Michael Chandler. Like, I feel he's the only really hated guy in the division. You have Charles Oliveira, that even Topuria was like, man, I can't even be mad at this guy. Like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? You have Max Holloway, who's arguably one of the most favorite, beloved fighters ever. You know, man, Dustin Poirier, some of the best hot sauce you could ever get in the U.S. You know, it's his hot sauce is actually made in Canada, which I thought was really weird. Like, I mean, how can you hate Ilya Topuria, who's grown on me so much? You know, because although he's a little arrogant sometimes for my liking, but just what a stud. You know what I mean? Like,
backs it up.
It's such a hard division to root for people to lose.
We're going to talk again actually about Ilya Topuria later on, because there's some news about something that Oliveira said about Ilya, but we're going to get to that a little bit later. Let's move on to another fight this weekend before we get to some 318 talks, UFC 318 that is. We got Derrick Lewis. We got the Black Beast coming back. Oh, not Glover Teixeira. Sorry, this is a mistake here. Hold on, let me edit this. It's not Glover Teixeira. Hold on, I'll tell you guys the fighter's name. Sorry, that is a little typo there, but it is Teixeira. Okay, so I'll tell you who he's fighting. Derrick Lewis. I can't remember. Taliesin Teixeira. So that's the guy who's fighting. So Taliesin, hold on. Let me get it up here. 1 second. All right. So I don't know if you know much about Taliesin Teixeira, but we're going to show his record here in 1 second. Let me get it up here. Okay. So he's a heavyweight. So this guy is 8-0. The last guy he beat in the UFC was Justin Tafa. Right before that, he was on Dana White's Contender Series. So this guy's 8-0, obviously a rising star in the UFC. They want to put him against Derrick Lewis, an old school vet. But Derrick Lewis, there was a point where, if you guys remember, he was, I think, on the chopping block by the UFC, but then he came in with that crazy flying knee and sort of like won everybody back. I mean, people always love Derrick Lewis, but it really won him back over, I think, won people over in terms of what he can do in the cage and what he's still capable of. And he's looking leaner and he's looking healthier. So it's very interesting, but I'm imagining, and I'm going to have you chime in right now, Justin, I'm imagining the UFC is probably setting this up for Taliesin to get the win and to propel his name. What do you think?
Yeah, it looks that way in my opinion, because we don't know who Taliesin is. I've never heard of him before, but I know who Derrick Lewis is. And to get Taliesin, him to go, especially if he does something special to Derrick Lewis, people are going to remember him and start building. And here's the other thing. Derrick Lewis is open about, I don't want to be the champion. I don't want to fight for 5 rounds. I'm just in here to collect a paycheck. He's open about how he talks about that. Believe it or not, I mean, as much popularity as he does, the UFC doesn't like that. Sean Shelby, I've heard him say, you know, in real life, like, hey, we don't want guys that want to fight. We want guys that want to be a world champion. And I really think that turns the UFC off of Derrick Lewis. So yeah, this looks like a setup fight for me.
Justin, look at this guy's record. Finish round 1. Now, granted, this is not the UFC. Round one. What the hell?
Justin Tafa's tough.
Dude, Justin Tafa. He got a TKO, knee to the body and elbow. Like, it's not even
look at Tafa's record. Click him.
Let's see. Hold on. We'll go to Tafa. Right there. So he's 7-5. Last 2 have been losses. Carl Williams.
7 knockouts, though.
Yeah, that's crazy. 7 wins, all by knockouts.
7 wins, all knockouts. This guy goes and finishes him.
That's wild. Yeah. No, look. I think it's incredible, but dude, this is crazy. Wait, this is even crazier than Francis Ngannou's record. All first round, or Tom Aspinall even.
Wow. No, his debut, he was in his longest fight for 4 minutes.
And he got 1 submission. That was his 1 submission. He got an inverted triangle armbar. It doesn't say what his background. I mean, he's Brazilian. I imagine he's got good. I mean, is that like a weird thing to say that he's probably got good jiu-jitsu? He's from Brazil.
No, it's funny because there's Brazilians that come into the gym and you'd assume they have good jiu-jitsu and they don't. And I mean, you look at like Nick Mota, and I'm not saying he has bad jiu-jitsu. Let me clear that up because he's a great grappler, but he's known for his striking, and he's from Brazil. If you guys know Nick Mota, he just had an incredible performance a couple weeks ago in the UFC Transition Couture.
Jose Aldo, great striker, maybe right, more known for his takedown defense and whatnot, and also obviously a Brazilian legend. But yeah, dude, wait, I'm now getting very excited for this fight. I want to see what this Teixeira guy is all about. All first round knockouts, and then you got Derrick Lewis, who's got crazy knockout power. Remember what he did to Volkov back in the day? He was getting destroyed, and then he landed that like fluke knockout punch. All right, this is pretty cool. I'm excited, very excited for this matchup. We shall see tomorrow what goes down. All right. Moving on to the next topic, guess who's returning at UFC 318? One of the busiest fighters in the UFC, Kevin Holland, is back. So let me show you this real quick. Did you know, Kevin? You know that was recently announced.
I just saw it today before the show, actually.
Dude, this is crazy. So Kevin Holland is back, and I love it because Kevin Holland has now said, nope, I'm not fighting at middleweight anymore. I'm sticking to welterweight, and I'm too small for middleweight. And so he's back again at welterweight. This time he's fighting D-Rod, Daniel Rodriguez. If you guys remember Daniel Rodriguez, I mean, he's had a bunch of fights in the UFC, but it was during that whole like round robin thing where I think Kevin Holland was actually supposed to fight him, and then he got switched to fight Khamzat. That's my recollection. I can't remember that for sure. But anyways, he's going up against Daniel Rodriguez, but regardless of who he's fighting, what I think is really interesting is it's almost like we have a new and improved Kevin Holland where he's now actually trying to be ambitious. I think he's actually trying to crack the top 10, which I'm so glad because he makes the sport fun. He makes the welterweight division better. Justin, what are you predicting out of Kevin? Like, let's not even talk about his opponent. I'm just talking purely about Kevin Holland and this journey he's been on. What do you expect to see from Kevin Holland on July 19th?
I don't really have an expectation of Kevin Holland. You know, I feel he's so hit or miss. Sometimes he shows up, sometimes he doesn't. He's a guy that I stay away from in betting because, you know, he says all the right things, that he's dialed in, he's doing this and he's doing that. But what is he going to come out before his fight and say that he's not? So it's fight to fight for him. I like Kevin Holland. I'm a huge Kevin Holland fan. He's great on the mic. I think he's really intelligent. I think he's a great fighter too. Loudmouth or big mouth, whatever they call him in the cage when he's always talking to opponents. He's super entertaining. I hope he gets the job done. I really do. I'd love to see a great resurgence out of him and crack the top 10.
Let's put some respect on Kevin Holland's name. Look at this for a second. This is insane. Okay, granted, it's not the prettiest record if you look at like the green versus the red, but look at this. Okay, March. Okay, let's just start here. Forget. I mean, this is all crazy, but let's just look at here. In 2022, March 5th, June 18th, September, December, 4 fights in 2022. Let's move on to 2023. April, July, and September 16th, 3 fights. That's like a light year for Kevin. And we went 2 and 3. I mean, that's not bad, right? Michael Chiesa, I think that's a good victory. Ponzinibbio, that's a great victory. And then he lost to JDM. That's the champ. I mean, come on. By split decision. That's crazy. He had a split. I didn't even know it was a split decision. Yo, that's crazy, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I didn't even know that. Okay. Shows what a casual I am, I guess. Okay. Then we move on to 2024. Look at this. 1, 2, 3. Again, Michael Venom Page. Remember that fight? We thought Kevin Holland. I thought Kevin Holland was going to win. I was shocked, actually. Michael Venom Page, legend. And then he lost to Roman Dolidze. I remember that fight. And then, of course, we get to 2025. 1, 2, 3. He's about to have his 4th fight in 2025, and it's only July.
Yeah.
He might have 5.
As long as he's healthy, he's ready to fight.
Yo, that's crazy. That's crazy. And Vicente Luque, that's a great win. Gunnar Nelson, solid vet of the game, legend. But then you have Vicente Luque. We got to put some respect on Kevin Holland's name. What's that?
I like Kevin Holland.
Yeah. No, I know you do. I know you. I'm not saying you're disrespecting him. I'm just saying in general, people disrespect him all the time. People say that they think he's not good or whatever. I don't know. Whatever, MMA fans say, it is what it is. But like, dude, that strength of schedule is out of control. Now, one last thing I didn't show, Kevin Holland's record. He has 42 professional fights. He's getting close to Justin Guitar Hero James with the number of fights. But he's got 28 wins, 13 losses. Let's see what he can do in welterweight. This is very exciting. I'm really stoked for their 318 in general. People have been crapping on the card. I think it's totally unfair. I cannot wait for this fight. Do you have is there any way you're picking in this Kevin Holland matchup?
No, I stay away from Kevin Holland, especially. I mean, I want Kevin to win, man. My heart wants Kevin to win, but he has to show up.
Okay, now we are moving on to the next topic. Our friend Conor McGregor is back in the mix. Did you see this BKFC conference? Yo, holy dude, this is crazy. So first of all, I'm going to show a couple clips. We're going to first talk about this where he introduces Mike Perry. I'm still trying to understand if this is all made up or if this is real or Conor's
just like, made up, man. It's still out there.
With him like firing Mike Perry and all that. Is that what you? Yeah, I think it is made up too. Or I think Conor wants to believe it in his mind, but it's not true. But anyways, we'll show this little clip. I was surprised that Mike Perry didn't go harder at Conor in response to this, being like, dude, you never had the authority to, maybe they told him not to. I don't know. But I almost feel like Conor's just like living in a fantasy bubble. And Dave Feldman and the rest of the BKFC crew is allowing him to have this fantasy just so to save face. That's what I'm feeling. Because look at how Mike Perry responds. I was very surprised by this.
At this point, I would love to get this cleared up here in front of everybody at the state of the BKFC.
Well, I think it makes a lot of sense. We haven't seen Conor in the ring in a while, but I know he loves bare knuckle, and I'd love to face off against him anytime. Anytime we're looking for the action.
Yeah, you're welcome back, because I welcomed you back. October 11th is your date, and you'll dance for me, boy. You'll dance for the hour, and then we can talk. But your date is October 11th. Michael Perry, the return of Platinum. And we've got some hell of an announcement for an opponent for you. One of the baddest men to ever grace the Ultimate Fighting Championship, but it comes to bare knuckle, and he's going to throw down with you in front of me for my viewing pleasure. And then I'll decide if you're worthy.
Okay, I'll tell you some positive things there. So a couple of funny things to observe. You see Dave Feldman get up like looking nervous. Like he cracks a smile a couple times, but I know he was ready and waiting to see if Mike Perry was going to snap and some commotion was going to happen or whatever. But the good thing is Conor, after that whole basically monologue where he's just going crazy, sounds like a knight from back in the day, just going on a rant, being crazy. But then you see him, he cracks a smile afterwards. So it wasn't just, what did Jeremy Stevens call him? Cocaine Conor or whatever. It's not, I don't think it's just a drug-induced crazy outburst rage that's nonsensical. I actually think it's Conor putting on a bit of a show and recognizing that it's a bit of a show. So when we see him crack that smile at the end, I think that's a good sign that maybe he's doing okay. He's doing better. What do you think? What do you think, Justin, about Conor's involvement in BKFC at this point, all that energy and enthusiasm that he's feeding into it? Is this a sign that you think Conor's on a little bit more on the straight and narrow, or what do you think? What are you feeling?
I don't think he's ever on the straight and narrow. Look at his face, man. Like, look how red his face is. Like, I think he's fucked up right now, right during the interview, man. Like, seriously, he looks like he's almost shaking. And you're going to get fucked. Like, what the fuck? Like, I saw this interview yesterday, and I think he's on drugs right now. And Mike Perry, the biggest star the BKFC will probably ever see. Like, oh, yeah, Conor just fired him because he wanted to and welcomed him back. Okay. Their biggest money maker ever. Conor McGregor doesn't make them money right now. Maybe he does right now, but not in fighting he doesn't. People aren't tuning in. People aren't paying pay-per-views to listen to Conor McGregor talk. They're paying pay-per-views to watch Mike Perry fight. And so no, I think it's all of an act. And the smile, it's funny, before you said that, even the smile at the end, I thought the same thing. Like, oh, he just cracked a smile at the end. This is a show. This is definitely a show.
Yeah.
And Mike Perry, look at when Julian Lane got in his face, he like threw a napkin at him. They started scrapping right there.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Mike Perry isn't a guy to play with lightly. Conor McGregor, I could even imagine in the back, hey man, hey, follow along.
Right. They must have,
because Mike Perry smiled too.
And after this, at the face-offs, Mike Perry almost got into a fight. At the presser, he went over and knocked the dude's head off. So, like, Mike Perry was getting into it with a lot of people, but there, he's kind of keeping his calm and whatever. And I think Dave Feldman knew that was supposed to go down, that interaction, but I think he still got nervous. Like, is Conor going to push it a little too far? And is Mike Perry going to react? And I think he was just, like, on the lookout. Hey, let's hope it doesn't get too crazy when Conor got that close. Yeah. What do you think would happen if Mike Perry and Conor McGregor actually fought in bare knuckle?
I think Mike Perry, bare knuckle, I think he mops him up.
I think so too, but
I think he finishes him. I think he finishes him. Mike Perry, listen, coming from somebody that has done bare knuckle, and I'm not saying I'm Mike Perry, but I understand the nuance of it. Like, if I did like a boxing fight with MMA gloves, I think I'd excel a lot more, because I have very brittle hands. Like, they break all the time. When even those 4-ounce gloves give so much support that I'd feel more comfortable really winging my shots, man. But taking those gloves off, Mike Perry has proven himself time and time again, beating UFC champions, and not only beating them, finishing them. Eddie Alvarez, Luke Rockhold, 2 former UFC champions. Eddie Alvarez, a lightweight, and then Luke Rockhold being, I think he was a light heavyweight.
Yes, he was.
Like, that's insane. And no, he didn't beat these guys. He finished these guys. Mike Perry is a different breed. Mike Perry is a different freaking breed, and Conor McGregor isn't going to hold a candle to him if they do a bare knuckle fight.
Now, the only thing that I'll say about Conor, though, is, and I don't know if you ever had a chance to meet him. I know your boy Kai Stewart has met him a bunch of times, but like,
Kai, oh yeah, let me tell you something Kai was doing at the show that was kind of annoying. Tell me. So we're sitting in the booth. And he's like talking, oh, yeah, I'm boys with Conor McGregor. Like, I'm going to get him to come out to the Fusion. And Terrell's like, really? You're going to get him out? He's like, oh, yeah. He's going to come out here to Montana. Him and I, we're really tight. And I was like, come on, man. Come on, dude. Kai, I respect you as the world champion, but come on, man. Conor McGregor's going to come sit in the booth at Fusion Fight League, bro. Come on, man. And then Terrell's like, well, I know this other guy, and I'm going to bring him. It would have been I'm just sitting there dying laughing because Kai's open. He's smoking pot the whole show. And I'm just like, what is this guy doing? He's telling Terrell how high he is and shit. It was wild.
For those of you guys who don't know, Kai Stewart actually stepped in and was co-commentating with Justin for the last Fusion show. I wasn't able to make it, unfortunately, but so Kai stepped in, BKFC champ. And anyways, that's what he's talking about. Western said that Luke Rockhold was a middleweight. Yes, he was primarily, but he did have a fight at light heavyweight. I believe he fought Jan Blachowicz at light heavyweight. So it's like, yeah, fine. He's basically a middleweight, but he's had one fight at light heavyweight. So he's a big dude. And Mike Perry broke his teeth. That's crazy. We got a couple other comments. Tehran says, also, I forgot to tell you guys, Tony Ferguson said he's starting his boxing.
Yeah, August 30th. August 30th, I think, is his debut.
Do you know who he's fighting?
No.
I hope it's Dylan Dennis.
That would be awesome.
Because I don't really want, like, who's he? I want him to win. So I want him to fight somebody where he has a striking advantage. I thought that Dylan Dennis matchup was so good. Like, that was perfect. We need Tony Ferguson against Dylan Dennis, and boxing is better than MMA because Tony, I think Tony will have a massive striking advantage in boxing. I don't think Dylan Dennis trains at all. I think he's just like, I don't know what he's doing.
I think he's just a troll.
Yeah. Western says Conor ain't going to win another fight. You never know, though, in bare knuckle or the White House. If he comes back to fight at the White House, all bets are off. Muttball says Mike Perry out of Flint is a true warrior. Let's go, Michigan, the king of guy you would
want.
That's where
Bam's from, John. That's where Bam's from.
Oh, yeah. Let's go. I don't know who that is, but
yeah, a guy I went to college with.
Western says Luke Rockhold. Oh, yeah. I already showed that one. I would love to see McGregor fight Ferguson in boxing. I don't know about that. I feel like McGregor would be heavily favored. No,
I think
McGregor's got some good boxing.
Yeah.
Would you want to see that?
No.
Yeah, I don't think I'd really want to see that. I respectfully disagree, but hey, I mean, look, I want to see McGregor. Period. If the White House is what finally brings him back for his final fight, let's go. But we shall see. Oh, this White House event is gonna be incredible. Okay, moving on. Number 6, Justin. I wanted to bring this up because I made a video about it the other day. Do you know who Coach Calavitta is?
I don't.
Okay, so let me show you guys this guy, and I want to get your thoughts on this. So Daniel Cormier said, because Khamzat Training is training with this guy. He was on it. I saw a bunch of the videos on his Instagram. This guy does a lot of strength and conditioning, a lot of reflex drills and things like that. So he says the training lab is a world-class training facility that implements science and technology to maximize health and athletic performance. Apparently, this guy is a well-known coach. And the reason why I thought it was perhaps encouraging for UFC 319, where we're going to have Khamzat hopefully face off successfully against DDP, was that it looks like he's trying to do things at a level to really bolster his endurance and his hand-eye coordination, his strength, his conditioning, whatnot. So I thought this may be a really good sign in the right direction. Daniel Cormier felt the same way. So just from a cursory glance, Justin, Does this sway you any which way? Does this give you a vote of confidence, or is this basically meaningless in your opinion?
It's meaningless to me. Holistic, performance enhancing. There's essentially what's the medical study behind it that says that this? It's like, it reminds me of like Training Mask. You remember Training Mask?
Nope.
So there was this invention they came out with called Training Mask. It was out of Michigan, and it was a mask you put around your face. It looked like a gas mask, and it restricts the flow of oxygen. So when you're training, it's harder to breathe, and it's supposed to boost your lung capacity by 90%. This is what they swore up and down, and it made exercising very, very tough. It's essentially you're breathing out of the straw as you're hitting mitts, as you're sparring, wrestling, whatever. And It just went right over the first one went like a gas mask around your face, and the second one made smaller, covered your mouth like this. And they swore up and down by it. But then a couple athletic trainers and doctors really put it to the O2 test and said it was all bullshit. So when it's holistic stuff like this, I just don't buy it until there's a medical study done behind it. So I'm going to show you
just a little footage of Khamzat Chimaev training with this guy. Let me see what this is. No, this is not Khamzat Chimaev. Right here, check this out. We don't need the music. One bro, his bicycle's like a baby bicycle.
Oh, well, they're doing conditioning and stuff. I mean, it's not all holistic. I mean,
right.
So, it might help them. And I didn't really understand what they meant by holistic, but yeah, it looks like they're doing regular workouts. So maybe.
Holistic generally means when they're taking a holistic approach, it's like they're thinking about all the different like a well-rounded, like full approach where they're considering like your mind. Look, there's Armin Sarukian working on that weight. You know what I'm saying? No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, look, this is the famous like Coach Calavitta. I mean, look, Khamzat looks shredded, dude. Working on that cardio. Let's go.
He better be. He has a tough task ahead of him.
Very tough task. Oh my God, that fight. It's almost here. It's almost here. Okay. Now we're going to get into the next topic. We only got 2 more topics. I want to show you guys what Oliveira said. Let me see if I can find this quote really quickly. I didn't have it queued up ahead of time. So check this out. He said, let me find it. Well, I'll tell you guys. Let's see if I can find the actual quote. But he said that, he's been hit by a lot of people, right? Charles Oliveira has had some crazy fights. Dustin Poirier, like the best of the best is who he's fought. He said he's never been hit as hard. This isn't exactly the quote, but he's never been hit as hard as he's been hit by Ilia Topuria. Justin, turning it over to you. Number 1, do you believe this? Number 2, why do you think this is? From watching Ilia Topuria, from becoming a bigger fan of his, why do you think it's that Ilia Topuria is able to levy such massive blows on people?
Well, he was in a perfect position. He was in his perfect power range. He was throwing an overhand right to a right cross. There wasn't just the power effect. It was the position that Ilia was in. You know what I mean? He caught the perfect punch. It was right at the crest of his 100% power. If you hit somebody like here and the arm's too lodged back, you're being look at his hook. Everything has perfect torque. Like he's right in that perfect power range. His arm isn't extended, and he just look at his jab. Look at his perfect range at his jab at that top picture. Like he's fully extended. You can't. It's more than just having power. Obviously, he has incredible power, but the range that he's doing at is the most important part, the most impressive part to me.
How did he get to that level? How does somebody get to that point where because you're in there working every day, other people at Extreme Couture, all the guys, they're all working on their technique constantly. What is it, do you think, that separates Ilia out, where he has picture perfect technique? Obviously, he's got the physical attributes. So, what do you think it is? Is it intense focus? Is it the coaching staff? What?
Yeah, it could be. It's everything. It's just dialing in, and he's focused on this all the time. He probably doesn't have. Well, he does a little bit of an off season when he's up to like 190 pounds. But man, he's a superstar athlete. Some people just get it. Some people just get it. A lot of people. I'm not going to say. I'm sure he's training just as hard, if not harder, than everybody. But there's a lot of other guys that are training really, really hard too. And you got to have that athleticism. You got to have that knack. You see people that just pick something up and are naturally already good at it. plus having a good training system, plus having a good diet, plus having a good coaching staff, plus having got good work ethic. I mean, I think those are all contributing factors, and it's just the perfect, when it creates the perfect storm, it creates the perfect storm.
It's crazy. Well, we are in awe of Ilia Topuria. Can't wait to see his next fight. We shall see who the next contender is. I assume it's going to be Arman Tsarukyan, but we shall see. All right, for the final topic, we got our man Jon Jones back in the mix. This isn't about Tom Aspinall. This isn't about him fighting at the White House. Hold on, I'm trying to find. Okay, Jon Jones. I'm going to find these leaked DMs. And we're going to talk about it, but I am going to have maybe a slightly different take on what we're about to see here. Hold on. Extremely heated. All right, let me see if I can find this clip real quick. Here it is. I'm going to have a slightly different take on this because I just think, me and Justin were talking about this the other day. It's like the way fighters get treated a lot of times and the way they get, hammered for doing this and that. Remember, it's easy to sit as a fan or as an audience member and just like criticize the heck out of fighters, especially somebody as public as Jon Jones. I'm not defending the things that he's done, but we all, I don't know if you're going to agree with me on this, but we've all had bad moments. Like imagine if every single one of your bad moments, like the street fights you've gotten into back in the day or whatever it may be, was all publicly televised, and so everybody got to see all of those back to back to back. People might feel a certain way about you, which would be unfair because we all make mistakes, but when they're all on a big stage, I think it makes it into can paint a much darker picture than is what is really out there. Now, that being said, I know Jon Jones has a very crazy past and has done all sorts of things that nobody else, I don't think, has ever done. So I'll admit that, but that's the way that I'm looking at this. I'm trying to be conscientious about the fact that it's so easy to just point the finger and be like, he's a piece of crap and he's terrible. And I would have never done all the things that he did. And he's whatever, we can just throw him away. It's easy to do that. But at the same time, I think it makes sense to try and be a little bit objective here and be like, he's dealing with a unique set of circumstances that none of us have had to deal with. What do you think about just before we get into the DMs? What do you think about my perspective here? I mean, you're a fellow fighter. You're training with a lot of super famous people at your gym all the time. Is there something to be said here? Or are you of the standpoint of like, doesn't matter. Nobody's done all the terrible things that Jon Jones has done, and he deserves all the scrutiny.
Yes and no. The scrutiny is deserved. I mean, especially when you just keep making the same mistake over and over. It's like, we all can sit here and we've all drank and drive before. And, it's like he just happens to keep getting caught over and over. And, especially when you're in the public eye, like we talk about, famous people that I train with, Sean Strickland, say Francis Ngannou. Hey, Francis Ngannou, shit like that. Nobody's as famous as Jon Jones. When you have that kind of star power and essentially maybe he feels he's invincible. You look at Conor McGregor, look at all the shit that he does. He just keeps getting away with it. When you have that kind of, like I said, he's on a different level of star power than even high level MMA fighters, MMA champions even. So maybe look at Mike Tyson, the shit that he used to do, man. When you have that kind of power, that kind of money, eventually you're going to get out of it. What is he paid for? You know what I'm saying? I'm sure he's paid some people off, but he hasn't been in jail, and he has a lot of shit going against him, especially this new charges today.
Oh, new charges today. Well, okay.
Yeah, at least it said new charges on the Instagram post. I don't know how old they are, but it was like threatening and harassment, making too many phone calls or something like that to a woman, and it's just like he's gonna get away with it. He always does. It's
just look. By the way, I am not making a hard stance that everything is like made up or something, right? And he's like an incredible person. I'm just trying to, I think it's important. I think a lot of times we look at people in the public and just immediately demonize them, or sometimes maybe go the other way and raise them up on a pedestal for the wrong reason. And I think it makes sense to approach these topics with a bit of consciousness and not jump to major conclusions for a couple of reasons. Number one, we don't know what it's like to be in that position with that much notoriety and whatnot. We don't know the pressures that they face, and we don't know the different things. Once again, it's one thing to say, false confessions are a great example of this. Sometimes people were like, oh, he confessed to the crime. Obviously he's guilty, because I would never confess to something I didn't do. And it's easy to say that. But if you actually study false confessions like I did in law school, what you find is the type of pressure that sometimes people can be under when they're being interrogated for 12 hours straight, sleeping at the jail, interrogated again for 16 hours straight, asked the same question like 20 times. Sometimes people can break, especially when you have people that are especially susceptible are people that have like lower IQs or maybe some like emotional instability. They just want to get out of there. My point is, that's all I'm saying is I think it's easy to jump to a conclusion, just be like, yep, he's a piece of crap, I'm better than him. But I think I just think it's important to be careful when we make these judgments. Okay, wait, we got a couple of comments here, and then I'm going to show you guys the DM for our final topic. Western says it was precision more than power. He's talking about Ilya. And he also says, Justin, any news on Randy Couture after his crash? Yeah, you were telling me the other day. What's the news on Randy?
Talked to Randy yesterday, actually. I texted him, not really expecting a text back, but yeah, he texted me back. And he said, I mean, he's good enough to text me. I think he had to get a skin graft. Hold on 1 second. I will give you guys the firsthand update. Admitting me to UMC Burn Center, likely gonna need a skin graft on my left hand. Ribs keep spasming. Otherwise, I'm feeling pretty good. So I'm very optimistic that he's on his phone right now. He's texting. He's just, going to go through some procedures, and he'll be really good.
Okay. Western also says, Jose, are you attempting to manufacture sympathy for this guy? No, I'm not attempting to manufacture sympathy. That's not what I'm trying to do. That's what I'm trying to clarify here. It's not that I'm trying to manufacture sympathy. I just am encouraging people to I think sometimes it's like people in the public, when let's say something negative emerges about them in the public, a lot of people tend to attack like hyenas, kind of circling a prey and just everybody pouncing at once. And I think there's a number of psychological factors that go into this mindset and mentality. One of those is, hey, like we view these people on top in like extreme powers, positions of power, prestige, financial success, whatnot. So I think there is a tendency to jump at an opportunity to pull them down. That being said, like, I'm not trying to manufacture any sympathy. I guess what I'm trying to say, and I'm not even trying to say he's better or worse than he's portrayed. I just saying I don't know, because I don't know him on a personal level. And I think it's helpful in general for people when we're trying to analyze things to do it objectively and do it through the same lens by which you would judge any other run-of-the-mill person. And that's all I'm saying. It's just like, you might feel that temptation to see certain things that emerge in the public's in the public and just be like, yep, you just want to condemn that person right off the bat. But you could also be in the worst moment of their life. We don't know. And anyways, I'm just saying, I think it doesn't do any harm to just keep an open mind and try to be somewhat objective, recognizing that all these folks think about all the stuff, as Justin mentioned. Mike Tyson is pretty much universally beloved right now, but think about all the terrible things that are in his past and that he's even admitted to and opened up to, but he's sort of gotten a redemption arc here and a second chance and has become a fan favorite. So that's all I'm trying to say, is when we look at these situations and these interactions, just to have a little bit of an objective lens is good. All right, let's go through the DMs now and we'll get Justin's reaction. I've already seen these. So John Jones gets into a back and forth with some random fan. I guess the guy like screenshotted it and posted it. So John Jones, I don't know, but this is more than just, this is basically just entertainment. And then Justin, I'd love to get your thoughts in terms of what you think this says about John Jones's mentality right now. But he goes, how low is your IQ really? You're probably in some trailer park somewhere. And like, why does he have to, I just don't see why he has to bring up like comparative financial status or anything, like whatever. But anyways, I just looked at your name. You're probably not American. How did you get a cell phone anyways? I don't even know what he's talking about. And then he goes, I think to Western's point, he goes, you beat your wife, cheat on your wife, cheat in the UFC, deadbeat dad and husband. And then he goes, sounds like you've been a fan for a long time. Takes about 5 seconds to know. My wife is out getting her hair and nails done. My kids are playing on their side of the mansion. What are you up to today? So John Jones is really engaging with this guy. I don't know who this guy is. Google your name and all you see is garbage. You go, your kids are scared of you. And then he goes, and your wife hates you. He goes, that's what you would like to believe. Again, you would love to believe that. He goes, John Jones, drug cheat, loser, cheater, deadbeat dad, and trash husband. Like, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, this guy, he might be right on all he's saying, but Do you get what I'm saying? Like, nobody really knows John Jones, who's like speaking all the stuff from things that have emerged in the press. You know what I mean? Like, am I crazy for saying that? I think we need to be a little bit.
Oh no, I don't think you're crazy. I think it's warranted for sure.
And Western says, how many worst moments are okay? I'm not saying how many again, you're misunderstanding what I'm saying. I'm not saying to okay it or not. I'm just saying that I think it's a common thing that happens to people is we just want to jump on the bits of information that we can glean from the media about people in the public eye. And so, like, you know, that's all I'm saying is we have that tendency. And I think it does us a benefit as fans and as people in general to maybe not to resist that urge a little bit to some extent and try and still continue to view the person through an objective lens. Maybe you know what I mean? Give them some difference. Now, is John Jones maybe even worse than he's portrayed in the media? There's also that possibility, right? We have to, it can go both ways. It could be that he's been caught and outed for like a tiny, small fraction of all his wrongdoings. A lot of people think that is the case, in fact, that he's cheated way more in terms of PED usage, done way more, committed way more crimes that have been released in the public. So I don't know. And I think it's okay to say, I don't know. I don't think you're like, you have to villainize him or you're also like a bad, you know what I mean? Like we just don't know. Like I'm okay with saying, I don't know. All right. Anyways, let's keep going. He goes, the truth is I'm Black, 6'4" professional athlete, multimillionaire, living the American dream. Are you living the American dream? I'm going to stop reading this. This is, basically he goes back and forth. It kind of gets lame after this. He goes back and forth with a random fan, like, I guess trying to flex on him, and the fan keeps pushing back and doing all this stuff. Justin, let's just look at it from this vantage point. What does this tell you, if anything, about John Jones and his mindset right now as he's saying he's getting back into training, throw himself back into the testing pool and wants to fight next year?
I mean, he's arguing with the fan, man. That's just like, and what's crazy is he gets thousands and thousands of messages, hate messages. Why did he choose this one guy?
I know. I don't know.
Was he drunk? Was he high? You know what I mean? Now it's just like this one guy. I mean, he gets thousands of messages. I got hundreds. So you know he's probably getting tens of thousands. Why did he choose this guy? And I don't know. I don't know, man. I just think it's very strange because this doesn't happen all the time. So why this specific instance? So I don't know, man. John Jones is John Jones. He can do anything he wants now, and nothing would be surprising to me.
Tehran says John Jones' two brothers seem like decent human beings. John Jones, on the other hand, is a POS. Yeah, I mean, I guess like
but they're on different levels of stardom. Like John Jones, I don't even know John Jones's brother. I know they're in the NFL. I know they're incredible football players. They're great football players. I don't even know what their names are.
Yeah,
so
I don't know.
We're talking about levels of stardom. John Jones is. I mean, they're great athletes. Their whole family's great athletes, but again, and they're great football players. I think they might be some of the best players in their division at one point, or like, so there are superstars in the NFL, but I don't know who they are. Everyone knows who John Jones is.
A lot of pressure, a lot of notoriety. He got to those crazy levels of fame at a very, very young, extremely young age when he started just getting out there and being known. And man, it's been a wild journey for John Jones. Again, this is not me. I think what did Weston say, that I'm trying to manufacture sympathy? No, it's not that at all. I don't know. I just don't feel like I know enough. And maybe you guys feel like you know more than me and feel more confident in making drawing a hard line in the sand. But anyways, I don't, and I we'll see what happens. Regardless of all the personal stuff and all the crazy drama and these DMs and whatnot, I'd like to see him fight Tom Aspinall still. I'm not like dying to, listening to every news announcement and hoping that it happens ASAP. And oh my God, if it doesn't happen, it's going to be, I'll be devastated. It's nothing like that, but I would like to see it happen. And I think the White House would be great. Let's see, fingers crossed, but we shall see. The big fight. I'm going to end on this. Tehran says, I don't know who's worse, McGregor or Jones. Yeah. I don't know either. I guess we shall see. Let's end on a positive note here. So, on a positive, guys, we've got UFC 318 right around the corner. We got a pretty fun card even tomorrow with Derrick Lewis and some other folks in the mix, as we mentioned. Gabriel Bonfim could be a rising star fighting Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. That'd be a great victory, a great scalp to get if he can get it. And let's see what Derrick Lewis can do against this rising maybe prospect of Teixeira. Let's find out. That'll be very interesting. And then we got UFC 318, Kevin Holland returning, obviously Dustin Poirier and Max Holloway at the top. But the big fight, August 16th, UFC 319. Let's go. Let us know what you guys think in the comments. By the way, last thing, if you guys do end up deciding to join into our membership, let us know what other training videos you want to see. Do you want to see more detailed breakdowns of just how to throw simple stuff, how to throw a good jab, how to throw a picture perfect cross, how to really lean in and get a good uppercut, right? A rear uppercut, a lead uppercut. What do you want to see? Do you want to know how to kick, how to wrestle, whatnot? Let us know. Justin can teach anything and everything, and we'll keep putting out those videos. And for those of you guys who are members already, please let us know if you like what you see so far. That's all we got today. Thank you guys so much for joining. You guys make the show fun for us, so we appreciate you showing up and showing out every time, and we will see you in the next episode on Monday at 1:30 p.m. PST. Oh, wait. We got a couple new comments. Celine says, nice new haircut. Let's go. Shave the head like Justin. And then Tehran says, UFC fall pay-per-views are always better than summer pay-per-views. Is that always the case? I don't know. Is that right? I don't know if I mean,
people probably tend to be in during the summer, maybe traveling more. Kids are out of, or, they're at home, so they're maybe vacation more. I don't know.
Oh, Western says, whenever I get to my bank again, I'll buy a membership. LOL. Let's go. Okay. And Celine says, have a good day. All right, guys. That is it. We will end on that comment. Thank you so much, and we will see you in the next episode. Take it easy.